Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Wednesday, August 13th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Baltimore Orioles versus the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes. We did have a weather delay of roughly 2 hours, so the game was supposed to start at 3:35 Pacific, but it looks like the thunderstorm has passed. We'll have to keep an eye, on the weather as we go throughout the matchup. But let's get into these starting lineups. And a happy Wednesday, everyone. And on the left is our left fielder stud, Randy Arozarena. And on the right, the up-and-coming star, second baseman, Jackson Holliday. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners in left field, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, third baseman, Eugenio Suarez. Batting fifth, playing first base, Josh Naylor. Batting sixth, DHing today for the Mariners, Mitch Garver. Batting seventh, playing second base, Jorge Polanco. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, J.P. Crawford. And batting ninth, playing right field, Dylan Moore. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 3-4 record, an ERA of 3.35, it is Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. And now let's get into the starting lineups for the home Baltimore Orioles. Leading off for the Orioles at second base, Jackson Holliday. Batting second, playing third base, Jordan Westburg. Batting third, playing shortstop, Gunnar Henderson. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, catching for the Orioles, Adley Rushman. And batting fifth, DHing for the O's, Ryan Mountcastle. Batting sixth, playing right field, Ryan Noda. Batting seventh, playing first base, Kobe Mayo. Batting eighth, playing center field, Daniel Johnson. And batting ninth, playing left field, Dylan Carlson. And on the mound for the Orioles with a 5-2 record, an ERA of 1.44, it is Trevor Rogers. So normally we're not going to have a lineup of Garver and Dylan Moore, but of course when we're going against a lefty, you have to go with that righty lineup initially. So obviously a left-handed lineup is going to be much stronger, and that's what we usually see. But again, we're going to have to try to do our best, at least for the first 6 innings, with this particular lineup. And then at some point, I would assume that we'll have someone come in and pinch hit for Dylan Moore late, and hopefully we'll be able to compete here tonight. Try to tense up. Let's go M's. And on the thumb, Gunnar Henderson, not Jackson Holliday. Apologize for that. It was in a little bit of a rush to kind of get everything settled in. And I hope that we end up having a good matchup here. Mariners record, obviously, after a rain delay isn't the greatest. But again, hopefully we can find a way to get the job done here tonight. All day in the building. What's good? We're going to be shooting for 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. A decent amount of likes, obviously, before the game even started. We were supposed to start at 3:35 Pacific, but again, monitoring the weather, and it gets a little frustrating, with that. But again, we got to just try to do our best. All right, here we go. First pitch from Trevor Rogers to Randy Arozarena. Fouls it off, high and away. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and at the knees with the changeup. No balls and 2 strikes from Rogers to Arozarena. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the Dono train. And we've been doing pretty well, 5 to 15 subs per stream. But lately, we've been doing about 20 to 50. So hopefully we'll be able to get in that range as well. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Orioles. And, based on the thunderstorm and rain, we actually have to be kind of thankful that they actually decided to go through, because there should be another storm coming through, in a couple hours. But again, maybe the game will be over by then. 0-2 pitch, and Arozarena grounds out to third, throw to first, and that is 1 away. Next up for Trevor Rogers is the best catcher in baseball, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Sitting at 45 home runs. We're looking for home run number 46, possibly home run number 47. Try to ends up. Let's go M's. First pitch to Cal Raleigh and fouled out to first, and that is 2 away. And it's kind of been a trend where we've seen Cal be a little overly aggressive like Julio at the beginning of the year. I would love to be able to see Cal kind of work the count a little more. And again, sometimes, you are going to get a big home run on a first pitch strike right down the middle, or a single or a double. But it just seems like lately that hasn't really been in the cards for Cal Raleigh. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch from Trevor Rogers to Julio Rodriguez. Takes a ball high and inside, 94 miles an hour by Rogers, 1-0 count. Top of the first inning, 0-0, Mariners and Orioles. 1-0 pitch. In play, grounds out to second, throw to first, and that is a very quick inning for the Seattle Mariners here early. End of the top of the first. Let's go to the bottom of the first and see who's up next here for the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah, we definitely need a Randy home run today. He's definitely overdue. I saw an amazing story between him and the Texas Rangers, Adolis Garcia. They kind of grew up together and made the big leagues together. So it was kind of a cool story to be able to see, the bond that Randy has with Adolis Garcia, stud there on the Texas Rangers. And then I also watched another incredible interview with Stephen Kwan, talking about all the struggles that he had, being kind of an undersized and, being Asian American, obviously, had to deal with a lot of racism and other things kind of growing up, and was always a little bit shorter than everyone else, but ended up making it to Oregon State. And we know how good Oregon State has been over the years with their college baseball program, and then obviously making it up into the big leagues. Obviously struggling a little bit right now, but it was a great 10-minute interview. And again, I highly recommend, kind of going outside your wheelhouse for your favorite players. And anytime they end up having, special interviews throughout MLB or their affiliates, take a little time to listen. It's a real cool story for both of those videos that I ended up watching today. And again, you definitely learn something new if you're willing to take the time. In the bottom of the first inning, second baseman leading off, Jackson Holliday. Batting second, third baseman in the 2-hole, Jordan Westberg. And batting third, shortstop, Gunnar Henderson. And on the mound for the M's with a 3-4 record, an ERA of 3.35, it is Walter, a.k.a. Logan Gilbert. Let's go, baby. Got to find a way to win with a rain delay.
Oh my gosh.
First pitch from Gilbert to Holiday. And flied out to center, and that is one away. That one made me a little nervous. Next up is Jordan Westberg. First pitch from Gilbert to Westberg. Takes a strike looking high and away. 0-1 count. And great defense out there in the no-fly zone by Julio Rodriguez. Almost had a collision with Randy Arozarena. And again, you can't take for granted what Julio gives us defensively, game in and game out. Nice job by the no-fly zone in Julio. I see you, J-Rod. 0-1 pitch. High and away with the four-seam fastball. 97 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Westberg. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Westberg. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Orioles. We had a 2-hour rain delay, which wasn't really ideal. But again, we can still find a way to get this one done. And again, in previous games this year, in the last few years, we haven't had the greatest record after a rain delay, even if it's only 15 to 30 minutes. But I feel good about today. 1-2 pitch in play. Grounds out, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Good start here for Logan Gilbert. Pop up and a ground out with the first 2 batters. Next up is Gunnar Henderson. First pitch from Gilbert to Henderson. Big swing and a miss. Low and away, 0-1 count. Interesting for Westberg to try to dive headfirst to first base. Just don't try to injure Josh Naylor, my guy. Naylor, incredible defense there at first base. I love it. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0, Mariners and O's. Gilbert on the mound, Gunnar Henderson in the box. 0-1 pitch, fouls it off, low and away. Slider, 89 miles an hour by Gilbert. No balls and 2 strikes to Gunnar Henderson. Wow, really? Dude, that's awesome. Heck yeah. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Gunnar Henderson, and it's a pitcher's duel early, and we're still knotted up at 0. End of the first, 0-0, Mariners and Orioles. Let's see who's up next here for Trevor Rogers in the top of the second inning. Next up for the Mariners, third baseman Eugenio Suarez. Batting second, playing first base, our savior lately, Josh Naylor. Game-winning RBI single yesterday to give us the 1-0 lead, and magic number will be 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, but it could end up being a 1 to 3 run kind of game. Obviously, with the 2-hour rain delay, we'll see how it goes. And obviously, we have a right-handed lineup with Garver and Dylan Moore, so that could attribute to maybe a little bit lower scoring of an affair. And batting third in the 6 hole, DHing today, Mitch Garver. But hopefully at some point when the pitcher gets changed and they go to a righty, we can substitute for Garver with a lefty like Polo, and then obviously try to get Dominic Canzone in there in right field instead of Dylan Moore, and maybe that will be the difference late in the matchup. Right, ends up, let's go M's. Yeah, I think that I would have taken a picture with that as well, for sure. Gained a couple subs already, which is great. 2 subs gained. Appreciate all the new subs that we've acquired. And again, we've been doing pretty good lately. 5 to 15 was, kind of the average, but lately it's been like 20 to 50 per stream. So definitely making some way. And, the Mariners are playing great. Cal's playing great. Julio's playing great. We're on a nice win streak. And we're just trying to continue to make that happen. And if we would have swept the Rangers, we would have already been on a win streak a little bit longer than we're at right now, since we won 3 out of 4. But obviously sweeping the White Sox and sweeping the Tampa Bay Rays and winning game number 1, we could be similar to like what the Milwaukee Brewers have with a 12-game win streak if we would have swept the Rangers right out of the break. But still, we're really liking where we're sitting right now. Brewers and Mariners are the 2 hottest teams in baseball. First pitch to Eugenio Suarez, takes a strike swinging, high and away, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Eugenio Suarez. 1-1 pitch and a nice single up the middle. There we go. And we know Gino has been struggling the most out of any player on the Seattle Mariners. So for him to even just get, some singles and doubles, it's really going to help us out. 234 average, 37 homers and 92 ribbies. Not a lot of production early, but at least Naylor has, helped us out. But a nice single up the middle by Gino. We love that. And also moving Gino to the 4-hole instead of having him in the 5-hole, maybe that'll be the difference. Next up, in the 5-hole, first baseman Josh Naylor. First pitch from Rogers to Naylor, low and away with a slider, 82 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Top second inning, we got a runner at first, Eugenio Suarez, which is a pleasant sight to see. And at some point, Gino is going to get hot. He is one of the streakiest players in baseball. And I would assume, come September, October, he will be much better than he is right now. And Naylor grounds out, and that is 1 away. But at least Gino ends up getting to second base safe. Next up, DHing for the Mariners. In the 6-hole, Mitch Garver. First pitch from Rogers to Garver, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. And ended up, taking a little time to watch a little bit of the Tacoma Rainiers. Victor Robles had a nice base knock in his first rehab stint. And he ended up getting plunked a couple times, which made me a little nervous. But, Victor looks like he'll be ready pretty soon. So it may, be a couple weeks before we see him. They want to make sure that he has a good run, in AAA to kind of get the mechanics down and seeing how his body feels. But, getting Bryce Miller, and Victor Robles back could be the secret weapon that we really need in this late stretch. I mean, we can win without him, but with him, it really puts us in another category. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitch Garver. 1-1 pitch, high and away with the changeup. 2 balls and 1 strike from Rogers to Garver. And they've been bringing out some percentages on the chances of winning the World Series through Codify and Fangraphs that, do, stats and analytics on the deepest level. 3-1 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Rogers to Garver. And based off Fangraphs, they had the Dodgers at number 1 at 17.6%, even though they've been in a big slump since the All-Star break. They had the Phillies at 2 at 12%. And lo and behold, the number 1 team in the American League, guess who? Seattle Mariners, 10.6%. I like what we're doing there. 3-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Garver, and that's 2 away. And that'll definitely fluctuate, throughout the weeks. But definitely, it's not just, us Mariner fans getting excited. It's a lot of non-Mariner fans and people on MLB Network kind of going down our roster and seeing, the other teams, the Astros, the Tigers, the Blue Jays, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Guardians, and if you look at our roster, we definitely feel like we're the best team, even though we may not have the best record, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And if we can be hot and healthy late, we're definitely going to have a chance for the World Series. But we still want to try to be able to win the division first, right? Baby steps. Try to be able to beat out the Astros, which is not going to be easy. And then, ALDS, ALCS, and then World Series. But just to be able to be in that category, of being one of the top teams that they actually think that can get there based on our metrics and analytics and stats, based on how we've been playing, it's kind of exciting. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Jorge Polanco. Top of the second with a runner at second and 2 outs with a 2-hour rain delay. But we are here now. Rogers on the mound, Polo in the box. 2-0 pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike from Rogers to Polo. Now, I mean, Locklear obviously was kind of a baby Ty France, you know, and he's more of a AAA player. I mean, definitely not really ready to be, I think, a pro right now. He's like a couple years away. But again, you know, if you needed to call him up, you know, to kind of see how he does, you know, it's going to be growing pains and whatnot. But, you know, having Naylor over him obviously is a huge upgrade at this point. But I wish the best for him. You know, anyone that's in the Seattle farm, you know, I root for them to do well. And sometimes people end up balling out and others, you know, tend to kind of fade away. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at second and 2 outs. Rogers on the mound, Polo in the box. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. Count still remains 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jorge Polanco. And again, we're having a lot of the switch hitters obviously going right-handed, and that's why we have Garver and Dylan Moore playing. You know, Garver will typically play here and there anyways, but the only reason you're going to see Dylan Moore in a starting lineup ever is because we're, you know, going against a left-handed pitcher, and we just don't have enough right-handed bats. And even some of the guys that are injured, like Luke Raley, you know, we don't have access to him at the moment. So 2-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away with the sweeper. Count still remains 2 balls and 2 strikes from Rogers to Polo. This would be awesome if we could end up getting a RBI single or an RBI double to get an early 1-0 lead here in the top of the second, but it might end up being one of those kind of grinded out kind of games, especially after a 2-hour rain delay. And normally we lose like 100% of the time when we have a rain delay, regardless if it's 15 minutes or if it ends up being 5 hours. And hopefully we can buck the trend since we are on this, you know, really good hot winning streak, and hopefully we can continue to make it happen. 2-2 pitch, fouled off high and inside. That's 4 consecutive foul balls by Jorge Polanco, batting from that right-handed side. And obviously having Cal bat from the right-handed side is not going to be as strong as the left. But again, we're just going to have to try to make do for the first 6 innings and hope that Rogers will exit. And, you know, the game is still close at that point, and then it'll be a sprint in those last 3 innings. Definitely could end up being a 2-1, you know, 1-0, 3-2 kind of game today. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Count as 3 balls and 2 strikes from Rogers to Polo. 3-2 pitch, and grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first, and that is out number 3. We leave 1 stranded, but at least we got someone on base. And, you know, we don't want to see Gino have one of those amazing games, just like Julio in the past, where Julio goes 4 for 5, but everyone else does nothing. So hopefully Gino will have a good game, but hopefully he's not the only one to have a good game here today. Let's go to the bottom of the second inning and see who's up next here for the O's. Next up for the Orioles, catcher from the Oregon State Beavers, Adley Rushman. Batting second, DHing in the 5-hole, Ryan Mountcastle. And batting third, right fielder in the 6-hole, Ryan Noda. Sweet photo. That was a new one that I ended up getting here today. And there's others that had him kind of in a batting stance, but you couldn't really see his face. So I figured an action shot in the outfield would be kind of a cool thing to be able to show for you guys. Front ends up. Let's go M's. Yeah, we're not going to win 10-0 and Cal getting 2 home runs. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen today. You know, because you have to be able to go and look at, you know, past history. You know, history repeats itself over and over and over. You just have to be able to recognize the signs. So, you know, now is it possible that Cal homers? You know, yeah, it is possible, and it is also possible that he could hit 2 home runs. But, you know, I don't think we're going to get a high-scoring affair here today, unless we have meltdowns in the bullpen. We don't know who's coming in, and also we don't know if there will be another rain delay later in the matchup to you know, delay the game even further. But, you know, hopefully we can find a way to get the dub. 33 likes, 17 to get to that halfway point. We got 101 in the room. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We're trying to get to 100 likes and 100 on the dono train. And once we hit that 100 likes, we'll end up going to 125 or 150. And that's kind of been our wheelhouse as of late. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. And gained another sub. That's 3 so far. 63 to go to get to 21,500. Shout out to the 3 new subs that we've got so far. And we're still on pace for, 15 to 20 subs, here tonight. First pitch from Gilbert to Rushman. High and away. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Adley Rushman. And we want Logan Gilbert to hopefully pitch 6 solid innings and give up 3 runs or less, and especially with the situation with the weather there. 1-1 pitch in play, and Rushman grounds out to JP, throw to first, and that is 1 away. Good defense there by JP. Next up in the 5-hole, DHing Ryan Mountcastle. It's going to be hard to be able to get the sweep, against this particular team. They're not as good as last year since they don't have Corbin Burns or Anthony Santander. They're only 53 and 66. But again, the rain delay obviously is going to be going against us. And first pitch to Mountcastle and a nice single up to center field. And then I believe we have Logan Evans tomorrow. And Logan Evans can't win on the road. So if he ends up winning tomorrow, and we end up getting the sweep if we win today, that would be like his first win on the road all year. He's got like 4 losses on the road. So again, at some point, history needs to be broken, and you need to be able to find a way to get a dub on the road. But again, with the rain delay today and Logan Evans not being able to win on the road yet in 2025, all his wins are at home. It's not going to be easy, but we could do it. And again, we are the hottest team in baseball in the American League, and obviously the Brewers are the hottest team overall. First pitch from Gilbert to Noda, high and away, 1-0 count. Logan Gilbert on the mound, Ryan Noda in the box. 1-0 pitch, low away with the 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Gilbert to Noda. And the heat wave has finally ended, but we're still in the mid 80s. But then after today, everything should be like, 79 and lower for about a week, to 10 days. And I'm definitely looking forward to the cooler temperatures. 2-0 pitch, low and away. 3 balls and no strikes from Gilbert to Noda. 3-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Gilbert to Noda. Bottom of the second inning with a runner at first and 1 out. 0-0 here early in the bottom of the second with the 2-hour rain delay here in Baltimore. And it's definitely very muggy as well. Thunderstorms with rain. And even though with the thunderstorms and rain, they were still sitting around 85 to 90. And that's why that humidity is so important. When we ended up seeing Andres Munoz have to call time because he felt like he was going to pass out. And they had an interview with him last night and said that the only other time that he's felt like that was in Baltimore based off that muggy weather. So, it's nothing to play around with. You don't want to pass out on the mound and then end up getting an injury. 3-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Noda. And we gained 3 more subs. Appreciate it. 3-2 pitch and big swing and a miss. There we go. Two away. And we're almost at 10 new subs already. And we're only in the second inning. Shout out to all the new subs. Appreciate you. Next up, first baseman in the 7-hole, Kobe Mayo. First pitch from Gilbert to Mayo, fouls it off, high and inside, 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Logan Gilbert, 0-1 count. 21,440, 60 subs to go to hit 21,500. Let's go. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the slider. Should have been a strike, but called ball. First probably a missed call so far, but again, we'll see how this ump is. Hopefully it'll be better than yesterday's. But we still found a way to win 1-0, with an RBI single by Naylor, and that was pretty much it. But George Kirby was amazing. And again, without Kirby dominating and Naylor doing his thing, we wouldn't have won that last night. So we're definitely finding ways to win, games that maybe we wouldn't have won last year. And fielder's choice, dribbler, and a toe tap on first, and that is out number 3. End of the second inning, and both teams have left a runner stranded, but we're still knotted up here early at 0. Pitchers duel so far, there by Trevor Rogers for the O's and Logan Gilbert for the M's. Let's go to the top of the third inning, and let's see if we can get a unexpected home run or maybe a couple of back-to-back hits to get an RBI situation cooking. Let's see who's up next for the Mariners in the top of the third. Next up for the Mariners in the 8-hole, ice water in his veins, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second in the 9-hole, right fielder Dylan Moore. And batting third, left fielder, leading off, Randy Arozarena, 0 for 1. And hopefully we'll be able to get a big home run from Randy here today. I did decide to put Randy on the thumb today, so I'm hoping that'll give him that little extra boost that we may need. And I ended up coincidentally seeing that Randy and Adolis Garcia video later today. So I don't know if that's a sign by the sports gods, but a lot of times, I'll choose a particular player for either the social media post, which I did Josh Naylor yesterday. He ended up being the hero. And sometimes I'll end up picking someone, on the thumb that I think that will help us win or be that breakout guy. And hopefully Randy will be a guy that will help us win here today. And he didn't get a chance to homer, in that Tampa Bay Rays series against his former team. So, hopefully he'll get a chance to do it here today or tomorrow. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. All right, Libra says we're at 44. I like that. 56 more to hit the first goal. Let's get it, baby. Mike in the building. What's good? First pitch from Rogers to JP. High and inside. 1-0 count. Dalton in the building. What's good? Well, with an Oriole logo next to your name, you can say, let's go O's. Let's go Orioles. You'll be okay. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, low and away. A 1-1 strike from Rogers to JP. One hit apiece for the Orioles and the Mariners. Top of the third inning, 0-0 M's and O's. And tomorrow's game is extremely early, like at 10 a.m. Pacific. So it'll definitely be something where we have to hope that, Wheaties are eaten and everyone is, ready to go. And again, we are a pretty good morning and early afternoon team in 2025. In the last few years previous to this year, we weren't. So I definitely, think that we'll be able to compete. But again, Logan Evans on the mound hasn't been able to find a win on the road so far as our 5-hole, rotational pitcher. So if he ends up winning tomorrow, he's going to need, to give up 3 runs or less. But more importantly, we're going to need to score a shitload of, runs to help him out. We're going to need probably 5 to 10 tomorrow. And hopefully we'll be able to bring it. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, low and away. 1-1 strike from Rogers to JP. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. And JP is got nicked up there. So he's talking with the trainers. Hopefully he's okay. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Rogers to JP. Two pitch, and JP with a beautiful single to left. My boy, There we go, JP. It's like we don't have really any weaknesses in our normal left-handed starting lineup, but obviously with Garver and Dylan Moore, it would be much better having Polo, and someone else like Dominic Canzone in that particular situation. So even though Polo is playing second base, but having someone else, be the designated hitter. But we'll see where it goes, and hopefully Dylan Moore can get walked at least once, and hopefully we can shoot for one hit. And I don't expect a home run. I mean, if that happens, it's it would be unbelievable. But again, we just have to hope that he can get walked or hit by a pitch, but not injured once, and then get one hit. And if we can get that, that'll be a successful day, until he ends up getting replaced by Dominic Canzone later if they bring in a righty, which we hope they will. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Rogers to Demo. But if Demo ends up going like 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, don't be surprised with that either. And then if he plays the whole game, it could be 0 for 4 or 0 for 5, but hopefully not. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Rogers to Demo. Come on, Dylan, let's go, baby. 2-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and no outs. Top of the third inning, 0-0, Mariners and Orioles. And it's kind of crazy where we've had 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and there's that first strikeout from Dylan Moore, which he has had a problem as of late. But, he started off the season strong and hot, just like Jorge Polanco. He had 8 homers at the beginning of the year and has only had 1 since. And coincidentally, I was at the game where he hit his 9th homer. That was against the Pirates on the 4th of July. And again, really hot at the beginning and kind of terrible now, the opposite of Donovan Solano, where Donovan was terrible at the beginning and somewhat better, I won't say good, but somewhat better, later in the year and ended up making some plays. But definitely right now, Dylan Moore and Carlos Vargas are our worst. And, hopefully we don't have to use them that often. Next up is Randy Arozarena. First pitch from Trevor Rogers to Arozarena. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. Let's go, baby. Find a way. It'd be great for us to be able to get that 2-0 lead early. Let's go, baby. Trident's up. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Randy, and that is 2 away. Also, we have to recognize that Trevor Rogers is a pretty damn good pitcher. 5-2 record with an ERA of 1.44. We haven't really faced too many pitchers with an sub-2 ERA, so it's possible that not a lot of people are going to do a whole lot until that guy exits. But hopefully we can find a way to rough him up with 1 to 3 runs within the first 6 innings. But it could end up being 0-0 or we're down 1-0 at that point. But hopefully we can be close whenever that is. Next up is the best catcher in baseball, big dumper Cal Raleigh, sitting at 45 home runs. We're looking at number 46. Let's go. First pitch from Rogers to big dumper, fouls it off right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off. High and inside, no balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And again, I think in the beginning of the year, it didn't really matter if he started off batting right-handed, but obviously now being, on a little bit of a cold streak, not as hot as he was in the first half, it just seems like regardless if it's left or right, he's pressing a little bit, kind of swinging at a lot of, pitches high and away and low and away. Needs to kind of get back to that same rhythm he had in the beginning of the year. But a lot of pressure, obviously on Cal Raleigh to, get the big singles, doubles, and home runs. And hopefully he can just kind of ease in, with this role that he has on the team. And obviously easier said than done. But hopefully we'll be able to see him swing a couple times from the left side, and that'll probably give him a better chance to get something going. 0-2 pitch. And grounds out to third, throw to first, and that is out number 3. So this game is kind of going the way that I thought after a 2-hour rain delay. Not a whole lot of action. Pitching has been good. It's a pitcher's duel. And even if we didn't have the 2-hour rain delay, it could still be something of this nature. You know, we got 2 hits. At this point, they have 1, but hopefully we'll be able to get that monster home run at some point to kind of give us the edge. Let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the 3rd for the Orioles. Next up for the Orioles, center fielder Daniel Johnson. Batting second in the 9-hole, left fielder Dylan Carlson. And back at the top of the order, 0 for 1, second baseman Jackson Holliday. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to, obviously, our 3 goals that we're shooting for. We're typically going to be shooting for 5 to 15 subs, but, you know, we've been doing pretty good, 20 to 50, in some of our streams lately, and we're already at 10, so we'll definitely take that. We just gained a few more. Appreciate you. 59 to go. Be able to hit 21,500, and obviously we'll be shooting for 100 likes and 100 on the dono train, and then once we hit 100 we'll shoot for 125 and then 150. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 0-0, M's and O's. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Griffey wants it. Let's go. First pitch to Johnson, and crushes it into left field, but stays in play, and that is 1 away. A couple hard hit balls into the outfield on Logan Gilbert, but nothing that has left the yard, so that is good. 1 out. Next up for left fielder in the 9-hole, Dylan Carlson. Let's go, Logan. First pitch from Gilbert to Carlson. Low and at the knees with the 4-seam fastball. 95 miles an hour. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dylan Carlson. No, Mariners are on the road. We had a 2-hour rain delay, and if it was in Seattle, there is no rain delays because we're actually smart and have a roof, because we know that we have a lot of inclement weather with rain, snow, sleet, and hail, not like some of these other teams that haven't figured that out. Little dribbler, and that is 2 away. Next up is Jackson Holliday. I mean, it definitely makes sense, especially in certain parts of the country, that you would have a roof, or at least a retractable roof, so that way the games can be played and whatnot. But, we've seen quite a few rain delays per season. It kind of feels like we, have somewhere between like 5 and 10 every year. And records haven't really been too great when that happens, but maybe this is the day where we finally win one, on the road with a rain delay. And first pitch to Holliday, grounds out to first, toe tap by Naylor, and that is out number 3. And again, you've been noticing how quick these innings have been going by at this point. Pitchers have been doing a good job, and it's not a whole lot of Ks, a lot of pop-ups and a lot of ground outs. And again, it's just trying to get these players into a good rhythm after waiting, extra hours before first pitch. So, and most of the time you're going to get kind of slower starts like this. So, all right, let's see if we can get something going here in the 4th inning. I like the lineup that we have here. Let's see if we can get it right now. Next up, 0 for 1 in the 3-hole, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. I mean, I don't necessarily want you to swing for the moon in the first couple swings, but, if you get a strike right down the middle, maybe we can get off to a 1-0 lead. Batting second, 1 for 1, Eugenio Suarez. So finally, Gino gets a hit, but everyone else is struggling. Hopefully we can get the pace picked up by others. Let's go, Gino. Let's see if you can get your second hit. And batting third, 0 for 1, first baseman Josh Naylor. Great defender at first base, great hitter, singles, doubles, home runs, and also can swipe bags. The complete player. We haven't really had anybody like that in first base in a long time. I mean, Ty France was a good player, for what he was able to bring, but he's no Josh Naylor. And again, we're going to need everyone to be able to step up. And again, right now, just trying to go through the motions, and hopefully we can end up finding a way to get at least, a run, at least at the very bare minimum before Rogers goes out. But if it ends up being 0-0 or 1-0, by the time both starting pitchers go out, Rogers and Logan Gilbert, then it's going to be a sprint. And then we have to hope that we have our good bullpen, pitchers that enter the game. Because if we end up having like Carlos Vargas come in, it could be a nightmare. So, we'll see how this all plays out. Top of the fourth inning, 0-0 Mariners and O's. So if anything, we need to have the lead, as we go into like the seventh inning. Because if we're tied or we're down, they may end up bringing in a questionable guy from the pen, and that could help us lose. So, we definitely need to win here today, and tomorrow is going to be challenging as well. First pitch from Rogers to Julio, high and away. Good eye by Julio. Slider 79 miles an hour, high and away. And if that was at the beginning of the year, Julio would have swung at that. So I like to see that he's growing. 1-0 pitch, in play, and flied out to left. And that is 1 away. Next up is third baseman Eugenio Suarez. And they got Riz and Ryan Roland Smith on the Root Sports broadcast. I'm watching both, the Orioles broadcast as well as the Mariners. And, Riz always does a great job. I still love Goldie, but Riz is the main guy that does the play-by-play for the radio normally. And what a, great option to be able to bring a guy that's good enough to be on TV every day, that does radio, and then has a chance to be able to do this series and as well as the Met series. And then we're going to get Goldie back after that. So 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And that is a strikeout there on Gino. 2 away. Got a hit in his first at bat, strikeout in his second. But again, it's not just really the Mariners. You have to look at, who are we going against? 5-2 record with an ERA of 1.44. So don't expect a whole lot against Rogers. And if we do get more than a run, it will be a little shocking, unless it ends up being like a 2-run homer or a 3-run blast. Next up is Josh Naylor, our savior. Bring that electricity, Josh. First pitch from Rogers to Naylor, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Top of the fourth inning, 0-0 here early with a 2-hour rain delay. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the fourth inning, 0-0 in a pitcher's duel with Rogers and Gilbert. 1-1 pitch, low and away. Rogers missing the strike zone with that slider by about 3 feet. 2 balls and 1 strike from Rogers to Naylor. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes and 100 on the dono train. Let them know. Regardless if you're watching in the United States or, beyond that, in one of the other countries that represents the NWSF, take a moment and hit that like button. It helps everyone here, on the stream. It helps get more recommendations for people that are looking for Mariners, Orioles, or an MLB stream. And essentially that'll turn into more subs, more views, more shares, more donos, and more overall members to the NWSF. So, hitting that like button is very important every single day. 2-1 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Rogers to Naylor. Let him know all day. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. Change up. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Rogers on the mound. Naylor in the box. Two pitch, fouled off, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Josh Naylor. 2-2 pitch, and down goes Naylor on strikes, and that is out number 3. But on the bright side, we're not down 2-3, 4-0. So, again, I kind of had a feeling that it would be like this to start off, but something's got to give. 2 hits for the Mariners, 1 for the Orioles. Pitchers duel, good pitchers on both ends. 2-hour rain delay, but again, at some point, these hitters are going to settle in, and we may have to wait till the bullpen, ends up coming in, and we'll see who ends up having a meltdown. Hopefully, it's not the Mariners. Next up, in the bottom of the 4th inning, 2-hole hitter, 0 for 1, third baseman Jordan Westburg. Batting second in the 3-hole, 0 for 1 with a K, shortstop Gunnar Henderson. And batting third, 0 for 1 in the cleanup role, catcher Adley Rutschman. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Five Ks for Rogers and 2 for Logan Gilbert at this point. Let's take a look at the stats of the pitchers at this point. So 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks, 54 pitches, 38 strikes with a 1.36 ERA. Trevor dominant as ever for the O's. And then for Logan Gilbert, 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, no walks, 2 Ks, 26 pitches, 19 strikes, and 3.23 ERA. So based on the pitch count for both of these guys, they could end up, going a little bit longer than expected, but we will see how it all plays out. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, knotted up here at 0 early. All right, we're at 65 likes, 35 more to go. Now 66. We got at least 80 people in the room that haven't hit the like button. Do your boy a solid and hit that like button to help us move forward here today. First pitch to Jordan Westburg and lines out to right field. Dylan Moore is there, 1 away. Next up for Logan Gilbert is Gunnar Henderson. And again, we've been making some great numbers, obviously here, with the streams lately, which is fantastic. Every age group is being utilized from 13 to 17 to 65 and up and everything in between. Email viewership is up to 13 to 15% on the regular. And then shout out to all of the individuals watching, not only in the United States, but Venezuela, Mexico, Dominican Republic, Japan, Canada, Philippines, Colombia, Taiwan, Puerto Rico, Australia, New Zealand, and many, many others. If you are watching from one of those locations, I appreciate you. First pitch, takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Henderson. Great catch by Dylan Moore on that previous out. And again, we can't really count on Dylan Moore for doing a whole lot, hitting wise, but if you can be, an asset in right field, not a liability, that was one of the best catches I've seen in Dylan Moore making his career. Great job. We're talking about inches from hitting that grass, and he ended up flipping his mitt and getting that. Beautiful. 1-1 pitch in play, and Gunnar rounding first and getting himself a double to right. Nice job by Gunnar Henderson. Trying to open up the game for the O's, bringing that electricity here early. Next up, 0 for 1 from the Oregon State Beavers, catcher Adley Rutschman. There we go, 70 likes, 30 more to go to hit our first goal. Let's get it, baby. First pitch from Gilbert to Rutschman. Low and at the knees, which should have been called strike, but called ball. So we haven't seen too many bad calls or missed calls so far. So far we're at 2. So, we're almost at the halfway point, so that's not too bad. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Gilbert to Rushman. Let him know. All we need is that first one, and that will lead to 2, 3rd, 4th, 5th. We just need that first one to get us going. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at second and 1 out. Bottom of the 4th inning, 0-0 Mariners and Orioles. We're trying to continue our win streak. We're on an 8-game win streak. Could be at 12, if we wouldn't have, won just 3 out of 4, versus the Rangers, if we would have swept them as well. But kind of hard to sweep 3 teams in a row. Even getting a sweeps on 2 teams in a row is difficult. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, low and in the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Adley Rushman. 2-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Count now is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes from Gilbert to Rushman. Come on, baby, let's go. But it's nice to be able to see, some of our pitchers finding their regular form, especially George Kirby in his last 4 or 5 starts. He's starting to look like the George Kirby as of old, and we definitely need that. 3-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and great job by Logan Gilbert with a punch out there. 2 away. Really the only liability we have is Logan Evans on the road, and unfortunately that's what we have tomorrow. But he can win games at home, hasn't figured it out on the road, but if we can provide a bunch of home runs and hits and RBIs, it will give him a chance tomorrow. Next up for Logan Gilbert, 1 for 1, DHing in the 5-hole, Ryan Mountcastle. Bottom of the 4th inning with a runner on second, Gunnar Henderson with a double, and hopefully we'll be able to keep this game knotted up at 0 here in the bottom of the 4th. And then we gained another sub. Appreciate that. We're over 10 now. 58 to go. 21,500. Yeah, and again, Astros are one of those, teams. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have to grind it out, and it may take a little while for us to finally, end up being the sole team in first place in, the West. But I know that we can do it. Especially, if we keep winning and they keep winning, we just have to hope that they can hit a wall at some point or another. First pitch from Gilbert to Mountcastle, low and away, 1-0 count. .0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Gilbert to Mountcastle. Back-to-back sliders, 88 miles an hour by Walter. And hopefully Logan will be able to get this last third out. Cal had a nice little mound visit there with Logan. It's like having another coach, another manager to be able to kind of settle everyone down. And, Cal is such a valuable piece in MLB for the Seattle Mariners. He ends up being a great defensive catcher, another set of eyes to be a coach to help out all the pitchers, including the bullpen. And again, switch hitting dominance, obviously in the box. And hopefully we can end up getting that bat to light up here today. 2-1 pitch, low and away. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike to Ryan Mountcastle. Yeah, unfortunate that that's happening, but, we'll see how that all plays out. Bottom of the 4th inning, runner at second with 2 out. Gilbert on the mound, Ryan Mountcastle in the box. .3-1 pitch, and that ends up being a slider inside for ball 4. 5-pitch walk, for Logan Gilbert there. Now we got runners at first and second. Mountcastle at first, Gunner at second, and this is the first time that we've seen the O's threaten with guys in scoring position. Next up, right fielder in the 6 hole, Ryan Noda, 0 for 1 with a K. Come on, baby. First pitch from Gilbert to Noda, high and away, 1-0 count. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, good velocity. We just need to get the location. 1-0 pitch, and takes a strike looking low and away. Slider, 87 miles an hour by Logan Gilbert, beautiful. Painting that corner beautifully. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. And again, we want to make sure we're keeping it close. You know, we don't even want to be down by 2. We have to be down by 1 or tied. You know, because again, if we end up being down by more than that, and we end up bringing in Carlos Vargas, you know, or someone of that nature, you know, it might be over. So we want to make sure we're keeping pace or having the lead. So that way we may see a Brash or a Bizzardo or a Spire rather than one of the others. But we'll see how this plays out here in the 4th. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first, second, and 2 outs. 1-2 pitch, high and away, missing the strike zone by about 8 feet there by Logan Gilbert. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Gilbert on the mound, Noda in the box. And that's another thing that people take for granted with Cal, you know, is having that great awareness, you know, for being a catcher, you know, and you got to have that good lower, you know, center of gravity, you know, with the butt and the legs and obviously having that, you know, good awareness, because think about how many wild pitches, you know, that we have from our starters in our pen that could have led to easy runs being scored by the other team, you know. And again, we know Garver is definitely not as good as Cal at catching, but he has improved at least, you know, defensively, you know, compared to maybe last year, but still really hasn't figured out how to hit for the Seattle Mariners. It's not the same Mitch Garver that won a World Series for the Rangers a couple years ago. 2-2 pitch, and big strike 3 looking. There we go. We leave 2 stranded, and a beautiful job by Logan Gilbert. And again, you have to give kudos to Cal Raleigh. It seems like he always knows, you know, when to call time, you know, and again, so that way they don't have to bring out Wilson or Woodworth. You know, he can just have a little moment and talk strategy, you know, give them the confidence and let, you know, the pitchers know you're the man. You know, you got this. Don't ever fucking doubt yourself, right? And again, it's nice to be able to have, you know, such a leader like Cal to be able to kind of calm that guy down, you know, in those key moments where the game could get away from us. And then we end up getting, you know, maybe a pitch or 2 later, that big strikeout that we needed, and we leave 2 stranded. We could easily be down 2-0 right now, but instead it's tied at 0-0. Great job. Let's go to the top of the 5th. Let's get on the fucking board already. I know it's going to be hard, but hopefully we can find a way. Next up in the 6th hole, DHing Mitch Garver. Batting second in the 7 hole, 0 for 1, Jorge Polanco. You're due for a home run, guy. Let's go, Polo. And batting third, ice water in his veins, 1 for 1, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Let's go, baby. Now, we may just have to wait until Rogers exits, but, you know, both pitchers are at pretty decent pitch counts. Rogers is only at 54. Gilbert is at 46. So if it keeps, you know, pacing like that, technically both of them could go 7 or 8 innings. And if that happens, that probably wouldn't really be too ideal for the Mariners. But again, you know, we want to make sure that we have someone solid in there. Hopefully we don't see Carlos Vargas, you know, here today. But, you know, if we get the good Vargas, then it'll be fine. But again, we've had a lot of games where we've, you know, had like a 3-1 lead and he's blown it a couple times. So we just want to make sure we're bringing in the right people to compete here with the O's today. First pitch from Rogers to Garver. Takes a strike swinging high and in the zone. 0-1 count.
Yeah, and it's the hardest position to play, in my opinion, catcher, and that's why there's not very many good of, catchers in the league. Usually there's only like 4 or 5, out of 30 teams. And again, when you have a good one, every single team that has ever had a good one will let you know. As Garver grounds out to the shortstop on a 0-1 count, throw to first, and that is 1 away. But if you go back and look at the Yogi Berra days, the Johnny Bench days, the Mike Piazza, Pudge Rodriguez, Buster Posey, and Buster was kind of the first undersized catcher. But again, they wouldn't have won those 3 World Series 2 years apart without a guy like Buster Posey, and that's facts. Having Tim Lincecum at that time was pretty badass for them, too. First pitch from Rogers to Polo, takes a strike looking low and at the knees, 0-1 count. But I would agree with this. I mean, again, there's not really too many, that get recognized. And, there's a good chance that Cal could be like the Pudge Rodriguez of this generation. And that would be pretty sweet. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Rogers to Polo. Judah in the building, what's good? 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Rogers to Polo. Top of the 5th inning, 0-0, 2-hour rain delay. And obviously we have a left-handed pitcher, so we don't have our strongest lineup out there. 1-2 pitch and lined out into center field, and that is 2 away. I mean, anytime you see Garver and Dylan Moore in the lineup over, someone that normally would be like Polo and Dominic Canzone, and also we don't have Cole Young in the lineup either. So again, when you have to go with a righty lineup based off a lefty pitcher, not ideal. It's like almost I would, feel that we would be better off just going with our better players and proving, the statistics wrong, that we can still hit with left-handed, pitchers with left-handed batters. It's not impossible. First pitch from Rogers to JP, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Mauer was good. I would agree with that. 0-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Rogers to JP Crawford. But we don't have a very good record with rain delays, but really the main reason we haven't got a chance to get going yet is because of this guy. He's 5-2 with an ERA of 1.44. We haven't matched up with too many pitchers with a sub-2 ERA. And again, sometimes you got to give credit where credit's due, where the pitcher is good, and it's just going to be tough, and you're going to have to wait until he exits, and then it'll be a sprint in the last 3 innings, and then we have to try to find a way to win 1-0, 2-1, or 3-2, and that's not necessarily the way we typically win. Usually it's by, a couple home runs and a few RBIs, but again, you got to be able to find a way to win small ball as well. 1-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 on JP. Go to the bottom of the 5th inning. We're still knotted up here at 0. And again, we'll see when these pitchers exit. But with the pitch counts being so low, both of them could end up going until the 7th or 8th. 2 hits for the Mariners, 2 hits for the O's, 2-hour rain delay, 2-2-2. Something's got to give. Let's see who's up next here for the O's here in the bottom of the 5th. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. We're already halfway through the broadcast. Next up, 0 for 1 in the 7-hole, first baseman Kobe Mayo. Batting second, 0 for 1 center fielder Daniel Johnson. And batting third, 0 for 1 left fielder Dylan Carlson. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And we gained another sub. Let's go, baby. $11 subs gained. Let's keep it going. Again, lately it's been in that 20 to 50 range. Some games it'll be 5 to 15 new subs, but lately it's been much better. So bottom of the 5th, 0-0 Mariners and Orioles. Appreciate that, Judah. Let's go. 17 more to hit that goal. And again, we have at least half of the people in the room that haven't done it yet for whatever reason. So hopefully we get a few of those to do that. And then there will be a point where we don't even have to bring it up, and I don't know when that will be, maybe later on in the season, but we will get to a point where we're not even going to have to bring it up and it'll automatically happen on its own. So first pitch from Gilbert to Mayo, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Obviously at this point, we're still in the mid 80s, but it's the last day of the, heat wave. We had 4 days of like 100. So to have 85, even though it's only like 10 or 15, lower than what it was, it still feels, quite a bit better, but still, muggy from the last 4 days of being pretty hot. 0-1 pitch in play, and Mayo lines out to second, and that is 1 away. And then after today, then it'll be like 79 and lower for like 7 to 10 days. And we'll even get rain on the weekend, which will be nice, especially when we haven't seen it in a minute. Next up is center fielder Daniel Johnson. Bottom of the fifth, 0-0, Mariners and O's. First pitch from Logan Gilbert. Takes a strike looking low and away with a slider, 87 miles an hour. 0-1 count. Gilbert on the mound, Daniel Johnson in the box. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Johnson. Let him know all day. One pitch, fouled off, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Johnson. Bottom of the fifth, 0-0, Mariners and Orioles. Gained another sub. We're at 12 now. 56 to go to be able to hit the goal, 21,500. Bottom of the fifth, knotted up at 0 after a 2-hour rain delay, and it just feels like every time we have a rain delay on the road, this always happens. Just have to make sure we keep it close when the starters exit. And grounds out, throw to first, and that is 2 away. Next up, 9-hole hitter, 0 for 1, left fielder Dylan Carlson. First pitch from Gilbert. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 94 miles an hour. Good velocity there in location by Logan. 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking low and away, which should have been called ball, but called strike. So umping has been quite a bit better in this particular matchup. They've had a couple missed calls for the Mariners for balls that should have been strikes, and then a couple calls that were strikes that should have been ball, for Seattle. But other than that, it hasn't affected the game, which is nice, at least at this point. 0-2 pitch, low and away with a splitter, 82 miles an hour by Logan Gilbert. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. We're still knotted up at 0 here early. And maybe we'll end up getting a magical play at some point in the matchup. There was a triple play last night on Ohtani, which was crazy. You don't see triple plays that often, maybe once or twice a season. And there is out number 3. Down goes Carlson. Nice job by Logan Gilbert. End of the 5th inning. We're still knotted up at 0. Two hits for the Mariners, 2 hits for the Orioles. So we got Gunnar Henderson and Ryan Mountcastle. And then we got Eugenio Suarez and J.P. Crawford. Something's got to give. And at some point, we got to take Garver and Dylan Moore out and replace those guys for better players. But again, we have to wait for the pitcher to go out, and hopefully they bring in a righty so we can bring in our lefty lineup, because our righty lineup is not good. All right, 0 for 1 with a K in the 9-hole, right fielder Dylan Moore. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. Someone needs to be the hero. Could you get a home run to get us a 1-0 lead or a 2-0 lead if Dylan can get walked, hit by a pitch or a single? Let's go. And batting third, 0 for 2, big dumper Cal Raleigh. But again, he's had to bat from the right side in the first couple at bats, instead of the left. And I feel he always does a little bit better with starting off with left and then moving to right. But when he starts off the game on the right-hand side, in the beginning of the year, he was doing it all. Hitting 2 from the left or 2 from the right or 1 from the left, 1 from the right. But most of the time, if you go back and look at Cal's homers, normally when he ends up getting the first one, it's usually from the left side. And then maybe later in the game, he'll get one from the right. But we have seen him homer, twice from the right side before. So it's not like impossible. He can get a home run from the right side. It's just, not as high of a percentage, from the right side compared to the left. So it's like, you're usually floating around, close to 30 home runs from the left side and then, 15, 16, 17 from the right. So, about, half of that percentage, but still doable. But hopefully we can get someone to do it. But again, pitching has been great up to this point by Rogers as well as Logan Gilbert. First pitch from Rogers to Demo, and hopefully we don't get 3 pitches and 3 strikes and he's gone, but that's been kind of what he's been doing the last 2 to 3 months. First pitch, fouled off, high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and away with a 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dylan Moore. Come on, Dylan. Do something. One pitch, fouled off, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Rogers to Dylan Moore. I wouldn't really want to see a Mariner Padre. I know they're talking about the Vetter Cup, here and whatnot, August 25th, August 27th. But I would be, I don't know. I think, Mariners, Brewers, Mariners, Cubs. Mariners, Cubs would be the best to me, because I think the Cubs are really loved across the globe. And, it would be a very interesting series there. But, whatever happens, happens. If it ends up being Mariners, Dodgers, Mariners, Padres, Mariners, Brewers, Mariners, Cubs, I don't know if anyone really believes the Phillies or the Mets are good enough. Phillies probably are a little bit better than the Mets as far as, postseason experience, even though they did get Soto in the offseason, but, we will see. 1-2 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Rogers to Dylan Moore. But, Brewers and Mariners are the 2 hottest teams in baseball right now. So, and obviously if we played them, it probably wouldn't go well. Even if our team is the best team in the American League at that point, like the Brewers are on another level right now. And they're the only team, that has, 10 games, or more, as far as a win percentage on the road. Everyone else that's a good team or, a decent team, they usually are only a couple games above 500 on the road or a couple below. They're literally the only team that obviously with the best record, but also, having 10 plus wins, compared to their losses, pretty impressive. And Dylan Moore grounds out to third, and you normally don't see Dylan Moore go 8 pitches deep, but there it is, 1 away. But I love me some Pete Crow Armstrong and Seiya Suzuki. I think that if it ended up being Mariners Cubs, that would be my favorite. My grandma that has been passed away for quite a long time, was a big Cubs fan. And, they have a great fan base. And I feel like they're probably the most universally loved team in baseball with all those years on WGN. Like really hard for anyone to talk shit about the Cubs. They got great history, great uniforms, great players, and they're really likable. I like watching them. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 0-2 pitch, and flied out to center. And that is 2 away. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. We could really use a solo dinger right here. But right now, the Brewers are the best team in baseball. Mariners are number 2 based on how we've been playing lately, based off win streaks. And you never know. There's a good possibility that could happen. but we still got a few months to go, and you got to pray that there's not a lot of injuries and you can continue to stay hot. Top of the 6th inning, 0-0, Mariners and Orioles. Rogers on the mound, big dumper in the box. One-zero pitch. Big swing and a miss, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to big dumper Cal Raleigh. 1-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Rogers on the mound, big dumper in the box. Kevin in the building. You made it to Vietnam. Awesome. How's the weather there today on where you're at? Hopefully you're having a good time with friends and family there. Mariners have continued to, keep on that win streak, 8 in a row. We may not be on that 12 in a row. Now, if we would have, got that sweep against the Rangers, we would be at that same kind of level. 1-2 pitch, and big dumper flies out deep to left, but it stays in play, and that is out number 3. We just need Cal to be able to bat from the left side at least once before this game is over, and then that could be the difference. And we obviously need to hopefully get Rogers out of the fucking game and then get Garver and Dylan Moore out of the game as well and get some better players in there, and then maybe we can find a way. We need Dom and we need Cole Young, baby. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th. Still knotted up at 0. Next up, second baseman, 0 for 2, Jackson Holiday. Batting second, third baseman, 0 for 2, Jordan Westberg. And batting third, 1 for 2 with a K, shortstop Gunnar Henderson. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Gained 12 subs so far, 56 more to go to get to 21,500. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to that 100 like number. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. All right, we're only 5 likes away. We still have 100 people in the room that haven't hit the like button, which is mind-boggling to me. But, I guess it is what it is. But we need 4 more to go to get to 100. Let's go. What's your favorite food to eat down there in Vietnam? Is there a particular dish that you like that's obviously homegrown that you enjoy when you go back to visit family and friends? Yeah, fingers crossed for Boston. It's not easy beating the Astros, though. All right, we finally hit over 100. There we go. Finally got some people to show a little bit of love. Now we're at 107, and the 18 more to get to 125. And then once we hit that, we'll go for 150. First pitch from Gilbert to Holiday. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. One pitch, splitter, missing the strike zone by about 5 feet. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Holiday. Yeah, I didn't think Boston would come back. Astros is, again, it's good that team is our number 1 rival. It will bring out the best in us, and obviously with their past history, they're already going to get shit from everybody, not just Mariners, and Mariners fan base and the Rangers fan base and the Athletics and the Angels. They're going to get it from not only the fan bases in the division, they're going to get it from everyone, even National League fan bases. So they still find a way to get the job done more times than not. No Bregman, no problem. No Kyle Tucker, no problem. Yordan Alvarez been injured almost the whole year. Pena with the ribs. It's pretty much been Altuve with a bunch of others, and they still find a way to win. But their pitching has been pretty damn good in their starting rotation and their bullpen as well. But they just had an injury, I believe, with their closer. So we'll see where that goes. 2-1 pitch, low and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Gilbert to Holiday. Three-one pitch, in play, and Holiday flies out to center, and that is 1 away. Let him know all day who will be the first. Next up, 0 for 2, Jordan Westberg. We're at 110, 15 more to go to get to 125. Try dance up, let's go M's. First pitch from Logan Gilbert to Jordan Westberg. Big swing and a miss, low and at the knees, 0-1 count. Bottom of the 6th, we're knotted up at 0. And again, history tends to repeat itself. Every time we end up having a rain delay, this typically is what happens. And, the magic number will normally be 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. And normally, 50% of our runs are home runs. So if we don't hit a home run, we typically don't win. So we were extremely lucky to win 1-0 yesterday. But this one feels like it might be like a 1-3 run type of game. But it really will come down to the bullpen and who's going to be better. 1-1 pitch. Low and at the knees, curveball missing, 2 balls and 1 strike from Gilbert to Westberg. But Logan has pitched well. Rogers has pitched well. 6 Ks for Rogers, 5 for Gilbert, and hopefully he'll be able to tie him up, here shortly. Try dance up. Let's go M's. Two-one pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Gilbert to Westberg. 2-2 pitch, fouled off high and inside with that splitter by Logan. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jordan Westberg. And we gained another sub, 13 so far. 55 to go now to 21,500. 2-2 pitch. Low and at the knees. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Jordan Westberg. Bottom of the 6th. We're still knotted up at 0. And whoever's bullpen is going to be better is going to find a way to win this game. That should be able to open up once Gilbert and Rogers are both out of the matchup. But both pitch counts are relatively low. Rogers is at 79 and Gilbert is at 67. So, technically they could go a little bit longer. 3-2 pitch and 4-seam fastball. And that is a walk to Jordan Westberg. Next up for the O's, shortstop Gunnar Henderson. No, they're not going to deactivate Dylan Moore because, we need to be able to have a right-handed bat, and we don't have too many of those. First pitch in play. Henderson lines out to center and caught, and that is 2 away. And, again, Dylan Moore and Carlos Vargas probably don't deserve to be on this particular team, but every team is going to have a few players that are, average, below average, or not very good compared to everyone else. But, I could think of a few guys in AAA right now that I would want rather than Dylan Moore. Next up is Adley Rushman. Bottom of the 6th with a runner at first with 2 outs. First pitch from Gilbert to Rushman. Takes a strike looking low and away. 0-1 count. Let's go, Logan. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees with a slider, 87 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gilbert to Rushman. Gilbert with a 3-4 record, ERA of 3.35, but obviously if he didn't get hurt for the first half of the season, would definitely have an above 500 record, believe that. But it's been a rough year for injuries for the Mariners. Ryan Bliss, Victor Robles, Luke Raley, and then obviously having 3 out of our 5 in our starting rotation missing time. George Kirby, 50-plus games. Logan Gilbert, like 15 to 20 games. And then Bryce Miller, quite a few games for him as well. But it looks like he will be back soon. as well as Victor Robles. 1-1 pitch and grounds out, throw to first, and that is out number 3 on Adley Rushman. There we go. End of the 6th inning, 0-0, Mariners and Orioles. 2 hits apiece after a 2-hour rain delay. And hopefully someone will be able to make it happen here. Unless the Orioles end up making that mistake like the Tampa Bay Rays did with Rasmussen. You know, when they were up 2-0 and he only had like 73 pitches and then they pulled him in like the 6th or 7th inning. Like, why would you do that? And then Cal ended up getting that big 3-run blast after singles by JP and Cole. And then we ended up winning 3-2 after he bombed that home run in the 8th inning. So, you know, we'll see what the Orioles do here. But if they end up, pulling their pitcher maybe an inning early, that could end up favoring us. But again, sometimes pitchers obviously get tired, within the 5th, 6th, or 7th inning. And maybe we can get a little bit of a meltdown by Rogers here to get him to exit. Next up, 0-for-2, Julio Rodriguez. We could really use one of these, baby. Tridents up. Batting second, 1-for-2 with a K, Eugenio Suarez. Good vibes only. And batting third, our savior, 0-for-2 today with a K, but that doesn't mean he can't hit a big home run or get a big RBI here, Josh Naylor. Tridents up, let's go M's. Yeah, George Kirby is obviously getting into, peak form. The last 4 or 5 starts, started off the first 3, after the injury, and he was terrible. But now, Kirby looks like the Kirby of last year and the year before, which is awesome. Gilbert is typically great. Same thing with Wu. Castillo, is usually hit or miss because he's a little bit older, but most of the time, it's been pretty good this year. He's been better this year than he was in 2023 or 2024. It's the closest Castillo that we've gotten since, he first came aboard from the Reds in 2022 when we made the playoffs. And then obviously we know Logan Evans can pitch great at home. He hasn't found a way to win on the road, and I believe that's who's on the bump tomorrow. So the bats need to come alive tomorrow morning, quick and early. First pitch to Julio, fouls it off, right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, right down the middle, no balls and 2 strikes, Rogers to Julio. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away, no balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Likes up, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 150 likes before the stream ends. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train, which is odd. We are in the 7th inning. And we have gained close to 15 subs here today. Shout out to all the new subs that we've been acquiring, not only today, but in 2025. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes from Rogers to Julio. Oh-2 pitch, fouled off again. 4 consecutive foul balls by Julio Rodriguez. Sinker, 4-seam, slider, sinker. Rogers is throwing the whole kitchen sink at him, but Julio grinding it out with an 0-2 count. And normally with an 0-2 count for Julio, it's not a good situation, but he's battling here. 0-2 pitch, fouled off, and that's the 5th consecutive foul ball. Sinker, 4-seam, slider, sinker, sweeper. Let's go, Julio. Ground it out. Let's go. Top of the 7th, 0-0, Mariners and Orioles. And it definitely feels like it could end up being similar to yesterday with like a 1-0 type of game, or 2-1. But hopefully Julio can do something here. Here we go, Julio. Look at this. Go, Julio. Go. 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 Yes. Safe. A triple by Julio Rodriguez. Are you fucking kidding me? Let's go. How many times has Julio been in an 0-2 count and struck out, popped up, or ground out? A billion times. For him to get a fucking triple off the wall and not a lot of hustle out there in left field, it's like I'm watching Randy Arozarena out there in left field, but for the Orioles. And now we are in business, baby. We're going to get on the board. Next up is Eugenio Suarez. And I had a feeling that this could be the possible inning where Rogers has a little bit of a meltdown. There we go. Next up is Eugenio Suarez. Beautiful job by Julio and great, just awareness on the bags to hustle. And Johnson, it ended up hitting the wall. And again, if you don't fully hustle, you will get burned for a triple. Great job by J-Rod. 0-1 pitch in play. And Gino flies out to right, but not deep enough for Julio to tag up, and that is one away. And we got Gino with one hit early on, but nothing in his last two at-bats. Let's see if Naylor can get a big two-run blast or an RBI single. There's a good possibility we could get one of those two things happening. Let's go. Top of the seventh, Julio at third, and it's not like we need Julio with a suicide squeeze to steal home, but we just want to make sure we get this first one, unless he hits it deep enough in the right field or left field where he can tag up and score. We don't need necessarily a hit, but we definitely want to have the lead, once Rogers and Gilbert go out, so that potentially we could use one of our studs, Brash, Fazzardo, Spire, not fucking Carlos Vargas, if we end up being down 1-0 or if it's tied. We got to have the lead here. Let's go. Top of the seventh inning, beautiful triple by Julio Rodriguez, and he's not going to do that often, a couple times a year. And here we go, Naylor with a nice base knock and a single to right. Julio scores, 1-0 Mariners. Boom. Yes, let's go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And it shows you how valuable Josh Naylor really is. And again, this could be the difference between us winning the division or not over the Astros, making the ALDS or not, making the ALCS or not, or making the World Series or not, and then going to the World Series and winning or not. Josh Naylor, what a fucking stud. Next up is Mitch Garver. Top of the seventh with a runner at first with one out, 1-0 Mariner lead. Let's go. Hell yeah. Naylor is the man. Let's go. More valuable than Dino or Randy Arozarena since we picked him up. Just based on this small sample. Offense, defense, stealing bags, which we did not expect from Josh Naylor. It's just been amazing. And again, hopefully we end up signing him to a long-term deal. I would love for Naylor to be in Seattle for the rest of his career if possible. 0-1 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitch Garver. Top of the seventh inning, runner at first with 1 out. Julio Rodriguez with a beautiful triple. And then we got Naylor to get the single to knock him in. And it kind of felt that even if he didn't get a single, he would have gotten it deep enough for him to tag up. But nice to be able to get Naylor off the schneid. And again, we got a 1-0 lead. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Rogers to Garver. And it's just crazy, man. I've been watching this team for 40 fucking years, and we've only had 4 good years in 40. And this is the best team that we've had since Ichiro's rookie year in 2001. And we can honestly say that we are World Series contenders for the first time in almost 25 years. And there's a chance that we could even go deeper than that Mariner team did in 2001. We could actually win the division, and people wouldn't blink an eye. We could actually make the ALDS, ALCS, and no one would blink an eye. We could make the World Series, and I don't think people would be that surprised. We're incredibly deep this year. 2-1 pitch in play and fouled out to first, and that is 2 away. But it's been 1995, 1997, 2001, 2022 with Cal on the walk-off, and now this year. But it feels like, from 2022, like I've mentioned in previous shows, from 2022 to 2042, in that 20-year period, we probably will make the playoffs 10 to 13 times out of 20 years. And out of those 10 to 13 years that we're in the playoffs, pretty good chance that we're going to make a World Series or two. And hopefully we can win at least one. As Polo first pitch popped up and flies out for out number 3, but the damage was done by this guy right here. And again, we were very critical, of Julio's play early in the season, but no one can deny that Julio is a great player, 300 hitter and a stud after the All-Star break. Now, if he can ever figure out how to get started fast, he'll be able to have one of the best seasons in his career, and maybe that will be the time that we get 30-30 or 40-40 out of him. But even if he ends up being a guy that, hits 20 to 30 home runs and gets 20 to 30 stolen bags, that can be enough to be able to propel us, going deep into the playoffs and possibly a World Series. And we're the only team in MLB that's never been, and we want to erase that, from our history. Go to the bottom of the 7th inning and see who's up next for the O's. We gained a lot of momentum there, baby. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Next up, 1-for-1 with a base on ball DHing, Ryan Mountcastle. Batting second, 0-for-2 with 2 Ks, right fielder Ryan Noda. And batting third, 0-for-2, first baseman Kobe Mayo. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 150 likes. We're trying to get to 20 subs, as well as we're 100 in the dono train, and we're still looking for our first in that category. We've hit goals on the other 2, but not on the 3rd. Take a look at the pitchers and the stat line. Let's see where we're sitting. Trevor Rogers, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 Ks, 95 pitches. So he'll probably be done, thank God. And we got a run on him. And let's take a look at Logan Gilbert. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 72 pitches, 45 strikes. So technically, depending on how quick Logan gets out of this inning, we could maybe have Logan pitch this inning and the 8th, possibly. We'll see. But now, since we have a 1-0 lead, there's a good chance that we could go like Brash or Bizzardo and then Mooney and then win this game. 128. Let's go, baby. 22 more to get to 150. Let's go. I mean, it's all about consistency. And we obviously know baseball is very mental, and we know that. First pitch from Gilbert to Mountcastle. Back. See ya. Damn, just like that. We just took the 1-0 lead, and just like that, they said, you know what? You got one on our starter. We're going to get one on you. Mountcastle goes deep on the first pitch, and we have a tie game. Damn. We never get to celebrate once we end up getting that 1-0 lead or 2-0 lead. It always feels like the other team responds immediately. And now we have a 1-1 tie in the bottom of the 7th. Good drama here late between the Mariners and the Orioles. Next up is Logan Gilbert and Ryan Noda. First pitch, high and away, 1-0 count. They never said it was going to be easy. Kevin, get us started. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Stacks. Rex with a little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. We're at 5:95 to go for the best MLB streamer on YouTube. I appreciate that. And with all the hard work and energy that I put in, I definitely feel I am one of the best that's out there. And again, I'm going to continue to give my all every single day. 1-0 pitch, high and away and low and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Gilbert to Noda. David with a 5-er. Funny how we end up getting 1 and it turns into 2 right away. Thank you so much. David with a 5-er. Stacks. Rax with a little Cactus Jack. Now we're at 10 after being at 0 for almost 2 hours. Here we go. 90 to go to hit the goal. Shout out to Kevin and shout out to David. Appreciate the 2 of you very, very much. 2-1 pitch. Fouled off right down the middle. 2 balls and 1 strike from Gilbert to Noda. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right down the middle, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ryan Noda. And if there's anything you guys want to see photo-wise, let me know, and I got you. Yeah, it's like, I don't know if some people don't realize, this is not for fun. This is not like a side quest or a side hustle. This is my full-time job. So obviously I got to be able to survive and, pay the basic bills of the internet, the streaming fee, and taking care of my pup. So like, I don't need to, be rich, but I need to be able to survive. And, anytime anybody donates anything, you're supporting the dream. And obviously most people realize how hard this is. Bottom of the 7th, 1-1 Mariners and Orioles. And down goes Noda, and that is 1 away. Next up, 0 for 2, first baseman Kobe Mayo. I mean, you can go and look at any other baseball stream, but you're never going to see anything like this. And I take a lot of pride and energy, to be able to do the reading and doing the film study outside of the streams, not just for the Mariners, but for every team in the league. And obviously the preparation, you got to have it. And if you don't, you'll see what happens. First pitch to Mayo, singled up to center. And we may have to consider pulling Logan at some point here. Now we got a runner at first with 1 out. The pitch count is still decent, but he's starting to kind of lose his control here. Next up is in the 8-hole center fielder, Daniel Johnson. Bottom of the 7th inning, we're knotted up at 1. Gilbert on the mound, Daniel Johnson in the box. And he's only at 79 pitches on the pitch count, but again, you can always tell when someone is starting to kind of lose it. And, you have to be very smart, on when to be able to pull a pitcher or to keep him in. And hopefully we can find a way to get a double play, best case scenario. Slow dribbler right up the middle to JP, throw to Naylor, and then we get out of this inning. But, at some point you would assume a pitching change is going to happen shortly. A streaming fee for the program that I use. So again, people don't realize it's like I got to pay my internet bill, every month, which is going to be like $100, and then on top of that, if you use a streaming program, they charge, back in the day, it used to be maybe $20-25 a month, but I got to pay $45 a month, for a streaming, for the program that I use to do this. So, just with the internet and the streaming fee through StreamYard, that's $145 a month. So, and then I got to take care of my pup and have all the other bills. So, I don't think people realize like how much energy and time and, cost it really does take to be able to do this full time. So bottom of the 7th inning, we're knotted up at 1, and we're going to have the pitching change, and we're going to bring in Gabe Spire. I wish I was only paying $20 or $25 a month like I was, but these companies, it feels like everyone is raising their prices on everything, groceries and everything that you buy. And, having a streaming fee of $45 a month on top of my internet fee, that's quite a bit. Bottom of the 7th, 1-1 tie with a runner at first. And they're going to bring in Gabe Spire, and hopefully this will be the good Gabe, not the wild Gabe, and we can get that quick double play, or we can end up getting a pop-up and a ground out and get out of this inning with the 1-1 tie. Spire on the mound, warming up. Daniel Johnson, center fielder, 0 for 2 in the box. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Now, the thing you have to realize, they have different versions of OBS, that I used to use a long time ago. But again, for me to be able to do the photos, you can't do that on other platforms. So there's only going to be certain platforms that allow you, to do the photos and to allow you to do certain things. Like some programs will let you have a ticker. Others, you won't have it. Some are going to allow you to do things. And obviously OBS is not going to allow you to do those things. So for me to be able to do the streaming the way that I want to do it and the way that I want to approach it and show it to the fans, that's where it is. So, I know this more than you do. I'm the one that's doing this full time. I'm the one that has done the research. So, it's not like every program that does streaming gives you the same tools. And I've obviously gone with extensive research on what is available and what is not. So. First pitch from Spire to Jackson, pitch hitting, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Yeah, and if you're going to use a free option, that doesn't mean it's going to be a good option. It's going to be very limited. I want to make sure I'm giving the best possible show. And again, to produce a show on the fly, which no one else does, it's definitely difficult. Bottom of the 7th with a runner at first, 1-1, Mariners and Orioles, Spire on the mound, Jackson in the box. Wow, and look at that. Jackson all the way to the wall, and Gabe Spire gives up a big triple, throwing error by Naylor, and just like that, we're down 3-1. Brutal. And again, that's what I was worried about. When you end up bringing in a player like Gabe Spire, sometimes it's good, but he's not as good as Brash or Bizzardo, and just like that, he might have cost us the game right there. Unbelievable. Carlson continues the at-bat after a drop foul ball by Moore. Fucking A, dude. And that's why I don't like having this right-handed lineup. Again, you have issues with guys that could be liabilities, like Dylan Moore in right field, and a 1-1 game that was 1-0 after we had Julio with a triple, and then they get a triple of their own. Unfucking believable. Jesus Christ, Dylan Moore. And that's why you don't have a player like Dylan Moore on the team. You can't even make a routine fucking fly out. And he's done that twice in the last time that, he's played. Fucking A, man. Brutal. It's going to take a miracle now to be able to come back. We still will have a chance, but we have to, we got to stop the bleeding here at 2 runs, to keep it at 3-1. Because if it ends up going to 4-1 or 5-1, good night. First pitch, and Carlson singles to right. Next up is Jackson Holiday. 0 for 3, but based on how Gabe is pitching, this is another meltdown. Yeah, we definitely need a meltdown. And again, I wasn't really, and it shows you, the idea of going with a lefty, going against righties. It doesn't work all the time, Again, it's like just because they have a left-handed pitcher doesn't mean that we have to fucking play Garver and Dylan Moore. I honestly feel we would get better results with Dom and Cole Young, even if it's a lefty on a lefty. That whole idea that lefties can't hit lefties and righties can't hit righties is fucking insane. And again, we've obviously felt the lack of productivity and lack of defense and lack of offense from guys like Dylan Moore. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, we have a 1-0 lead and feel great. And you have a meltdown by one of your guys, who is probably our third best guy in the pen. And now we're down 3-1. Brutal. Also, too, you got to think how tough it is, to come in after sitting on the bench for 2 hours. First pitch, and Holiday lines out to left, and we finally get 2 away. Holy hell. Next up is Jordan Westberg. But again, we haven't really found a way to be able to win in a rain delay. For whatever reason. I don't know if it's something that, just not being able to get into our normal routine. But, it's like the only way that we lose games, like for sure, it feels like when there's a rain delay, whether it's 15 minutes or 5 hours. We haven't won a game this year with a rain delay. And I wish I didn't know that stat, but that's where we're at. And I mean, we still got a chance in this game to, tie it up 3-3 in regulation and try to win 4-3 in extra innings, but it's going to take a hell of a lot. And we're going to need a couple home runs to get there. But we still have a chance. It's not completely over, but again, bringing in Gabe Spire, that was not ideal. First pitch, and Westberg reached on an infield single to third, Carlson to second. I mean, how many fucking hits are we going to give up with Gabe Spire before we take his ass out? Ridiculous. It was a dumb decision on bringing him in. You should have brought in Brash or Bizzardo, and they could have fucked up as well, but again, these are the little things that Dan Wilson in his first year, like Gabe used to be maybe the second best. a guy behind Brash, but now he's clearly not. I mean, he's very streaky. Sometimes he's good, but, he's got meltdowns just as often as Vargas lately, and that's not good. Bottom of the 7th, runners at first and second with 2 outs. And Gino with a kind of lame throw from third to first. Come on, man. It's like, you got to be able to still believe that we can come back here. Next up is Gunnar Henderson. Everything going beautifully for the Orioles here late in the matchup. And a great job running hard there by Westberg. That kind of reminded me of like Luke Raley, where you see guys hustle all the time. And now they're having a mound visit with Woodworth and Cal, but fucking A, the damage has already been done. Like, what are you going to fucking say to Gabe Spire? You've already fucked up the game for us. First pitch from Spire to Henderson, missing the plate by fucking a billion feet. 1-0 count. Come on, Gabe, you fucking bum. Three runs this inning. Unbelievable. 1-0 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. I mean, hell, we would have been better off just with Logan Gilbert continuing to pitch until the 8th inning rather than bringing this bullshit into the game. 1 ball and 1 strike from Spire to Henderson. Well, it was 1-1 when he left, not 3-1. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Spire to Henderson. I mean, Logan ended up giving up 1, but not 3. Could have brought in Brash or Bizzardo. And it shows you when you try to, think on a level where you're doing everything the same way as all the other teams, it comes back to bite you. And there is out number 3, but not after the Orioles score fucking 3 in the 7th. Now we have to go to the top of the 8th and pray that we get 1 and go to the 9th and we can get 1 and hope that they don't give up. We got to get a meltdown on our end as well here. And hopefully we get the right approach here. Let's see who's up next. Next up, 1 for 2 with a K, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second will be right fielder Dylan Moore, but at this point, take his ass out of the game after that fuck up, and hopefully we can put in Dominic Canzone. I don't give a shit if they have a lefty pitcher still in the game. I don't give a shit. Put him in. And batting third, more than ever, we're going to need a home run. 0 for 3 with a K, Randy Arozarena. You weren't able to homer against your former team. We're going to need you to homer here. So maybe we can get J.P. Crawford on with a single. Dylan Moore will strike out. Randy hits a 2-run blast. And then, boom, we're tied up 3-3 going into the bottom of the 8th. So I'm trying to talk it into existence, and hopefully we get that to happen. And obviously tomorrow isn't going to be easy either because, again, we play in the morning and we got Logan Evans, and Logan hasn't won a game on the road this year. All his wins are at home. So, again, instead of going from 8 wins in a row, we could end up losing back-to-back games. And then we got the fucking Mets on the road, which is going to be much tougher than this fucking series. So something's got to give. And hopefully the bats will come along. We just got to pray that JP gets walked or gets a single. Dylan Moore, we don't expect anything from him. Hopefully it's Dominic Canzone will come in and pinch hit. And then we can get Randy with maybe a solo dinger or a 2-run blast. But this might be the last chance that we have. And Dylan has made fielding errors in right field in his last 2 times coming in. And again, especially when it's like a routine fly ball. And I get it. He's not an everyday player, and it's tough, but still, you're a pro, unacceptable. But maybe we'll see Miles Mastroboni. Maybe we'll see Cole Young. Maybe we'll see Dominic Canzone. But we need these lefty bats to come in. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. We got at least 75 to 85 people that haven't hit that like button yet, and more will get us to 150. First pitch, JP, and there you go. I called it. Nice single by JP Crawford. Ice water in his veins. Let's go. And then hopefully it's not Dylan Moore up next, but it is. 0 for 2 with a K. God damn it. Anybody but Dylan. Now the only thing that we got to pray is Dylan ends up getting walked or he gets plunked. But you know what's crazy? You know, for him fucking up, the only way to make up for it is a 2-run blast. I don't know what the chances of him doing that. I mean, the last time he homered was on the 4th of July, and I was there in Seattle. And obviously, if he homers here, he'll make up for his fuck-ups, but he's more likely to strike out on 3 or 4 pitches. So ends in the game here for the O's, and Dylan Moore in the box. 0-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. 0-2 count to Dylan Moore. Liability in the box, liability in right field. Why are you on the team? You fucking suck. You're like Carlos Vargas. You're a fucking bum. Ends on the mound. Demo in the box. JP with a single. And again, maybe we can get that Randy 0-2 pitch. And there it is, strike 3. You know, and again, when you've been watching a guy as closely as I have, and us Mariner fans here, I mean, the goddamn guy has struck out, you know, the last like a billion fucking times, you know, and making errors in right field. Like, why are you fucking playing? Because there's a left-handed pitcher? That's a dumb reason. All right, here we go. I got to talk this shit into existence. We need a pitch right down the middle and a 2-run blast by Randy Arozarena at some point in this at-bat. Let's go, Randy. Might be the only way we come back. First pitch from ends to Randy. High and away, 1-0 count. I mean, I'll take an RBI single to get it to 3-2 as well, you know. But hopefully we can find a way. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from ends to Arozarena. And this could end up being a walk possibly as well. Come on, Randy. I mean, he's overdue for a home run. But again, we'll see if he gets a pitch he can connect on. 2-0 pitch, and he should have swung at that one right down the middle, and he takes it looking. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and 1 out. 3-1 Orioles lead, and we got to get at least 1 run this inning if we're going to have a chance. Not to say that we can't get 2 in the 9th, but that's going to be pretty difficult. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Don't fucking strike out, Randy. Come on now. Lock in, Randy. Single, double, triple, home run. We'll take anything, even a walk or you getting plunked. But we're really looking for one of these. 2-2 pitch, and Randy lines out to center, and that is 2 away. Fuck. All right, next up, 0 for 3, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Cal is definitely a guy that could get us back into this game with 1 swing and tie it up 3-3, and we can get the momentum back. Will he be able to be the hero again? I mean, obviously we were, down 2-0 in game number 1 against the Tampa Bay Rays. They let Rasmussen go out. We got to Jax, and we ended up having a single by JP, a single by Cole Young, and then Randy got out and Cal hit a homer. Could we end up getting something like that here? First pitch, fouled off right down the middle, 0-1 count. Unfortunately, we've had Cal bat right-handed this whole fucking game. Like, why can't we end up getting a right-handed pitcher, and they're doing this on purpose? 0-1 pitch, fouled off high and away, because they know they have a better chance of getting Cal out batting a righty than a lefty. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. J.P. Crawford with 2 outs. Orioles up 3-1, and we're running out of time here. Come on now. Come on, Cal. 0-2 pitch, fouled off low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. And again, this, not common to have Cal bat the whole day just from the right-hand side, but that's where we're sitting here in this matchup. I'll give the O's credit, on keeping lefties in, because obviously our right-handed lineup is nowhere near as good as our left-handed lineup. And if Dylan Moore is playing, we're not in a good position, offensively or defensively. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees. Good eye by Cal. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. I mean, even if he doesn't get a home run, just getting a single and keeping this rally going. We're very good in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and we're very good with 2 outs in 2025. We need a miracle here. Come on, Cal. One-two pitch, and that is strike 3 on Cal Raleigh. Damn it. JP got a single for nothing. All right, we're down to the last chance opportunity, and we have to hope that we don't give up any more. Than where we're already down. It's going to be very difficult to get 2 runs. And then obviously if they score even 1, it's over. We're not going to get 3 runs in the 9th. I mean, the chance of that happening is probably like 1% or maybe even less than that. And it's still possible. It's not over till it's over, but based on our previous record in rain delays and obviously going against a righty lineup that a lefty pitcher, things are not really going the way that we wanted here today with our 8-game win streak on the line. Next up, 0 for 3 with a K, catcher Adley Rushman. Batting second, 2 for 2. With a run, RBI, and a base on ball, DHing Ryan Mountcastle, who hit the home run to tie the game up 1-1 after Julio got a triple and Naylor got the RBI single. And batting third for Ryan Noda will be Greg Allen, I believe. I got to get the Allen photo because he's going to come in and pinch hit. See if I can find a better Greg Allen photo. Yeah, he doesn't have any. Still looking for his first hit in an Oriole uniform, I believe, too. So played a few games and hasn't got it done. All right, we're in the bottom of the 8th. 3-1 Orioles. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 150 likes and beyond. And obviously, we're looking at on the sub count as well, trying to get to that 15 number. And we're getting close to that number as well. And on the dono train, we're at 10, 90 to go. Gain 2 more subs. 53 to go to get to 21,500. $15 subs gained. Let's go, baby. See if we can get to 20. Bottom of the 8th, 3-1 O's. First pitch. Oh, God, they got Carlos Vargas in. Yeah, this might be white flag time, or they just gave up. Unless Vargas can get us out of this inning, but because obviously they don't want to use Brash or Pizzardo when we're down by 2, but you bring in a guy like Vargas, it could be, going from being down by 2 to being down by 5 in a matter of minutes. First pitch from Vargas to Rushman, takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. And I don't really necessarily think this is really like an Orioles thing. It's really, we can't win with a rain delay. We haven't won a game all year with a rain delay, so it's not like we're terrible. We had a shitty lineup against a left-handed pitcher, and we had a rain delay. It's just, sometimes that happens, You have to have, you play a matchup with Garver and Dylan Moore, and you're going against a lefty pitcher and then a lefty bullpen, and you had a 2-hour rain delay. We haven't won one game on a rain delay all year, and, hopefully, we will before the season's over, but, history tends to repeat itself. Oh, 1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes to Adley Rushman. 0-2 pitch, and grounded out to first. Naylor with the toe tap, and that is 1 away. You can definitely tell who's delusional and who is not, who watches the games and who doesn't. Haters will always hate, but even if we drop this game, we're still one of the best teams in baseball. Nobody can take that away from us. We're a World Series contender, and not many people can say that either. First pitch from Vargas to Mountcastle, high and inside, 1-0 count. When you get other haters, claiming that we're cheating, or people are being bandwagon, that's when we've started to make a mark in the league. So it's not like anyone has ever said that before. So 1-0 pitch, fouls it off high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Vargas to Mountcastle. But once they start talking about bandwagon fans for the Mariners and obviously cheating, that's when you've arrived. Took a few years for the Padres to get that as well, and now they know that they've been a solid team for a few years, and I feel this will be the first year of many, many years of very good play. 1-1 pitch. In play and deep into center field. The Mountcastle is out. Thank God. 2 away. So far, so good here for Carlos Vargas. Next up, pinch hitting here for Ryan Noda, center fielder Greg Allen. Still looking for his first hit in an Oriole uniform. Only had a few games under his belt, but hopefully he'll be able to get Allen out, and we'll have to pray for a fucking miracle here in the top of the 9th. First pitch from Vargas to Allen. Big swing and a miss, low and away, 0-1 count. Need a couple more subs. 15 so far. See if we can get to 20. 51 to go to get to 21,500. 0-1 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Vargas to Allen. And plus, you have to look at the Mariners' record on the road compared to everyone else. Almost every team in MLB sucks on the road except for the Milwaukee Brewers. They're the only team that's good on the road. Everyone else is a couple games above, a couple games below, or really shitty, on the road, even good teams. So most of the good teams are great at home, but they can't win on the road. So unless you're the Milwaukee Brewers, they're really the only team on the road that's good with 10 games above 500 out of 30. They're the only team, 1 out of 30. So, either you recognize that or you don't, but it's not easy to win on the road. And that is out number 3. Good job by Vargas. And the last time that we had Vargas come in, he actually retired the side as well. So I don't know if that's a sign that Vargas is no longer the worst player on the team. It is definitely Dylan Moore. But after Dylan's performance here today and his last performance coming in, might as well have Miles Mastrobuoni or Dominic Canzone. Who cares if they have a left-handed pitcher? We have a better chance of getting a left-handed hitter, getting a hit off a left-handed pitcher than a shitty righty. And obviously a guy that can't defend either, Dylan Moore. All right, well, let's see if we actually have a chance with the lineup here, and it looks like we do. We got to pray. Put your hands together. Next up, 1 for 3 with a triple, Julio Rodriguez. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a single in his first at-bat, Eugenio Suarez. This would be a great time for a 2-run homer if Julio gets a single and Gino can get on the board. And then batting third, one of the hottest players on our team lately, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a K, Josh Naylor. So if we can just get Julio, Gino, and Naylor to do their job, we potentially could tie this game up. But it's still going to be tough. But it's going to be tough. Like I said, we already had a 2-hour rain delay, and normally that's an L automatically. And it looked like we actually had a chance to overcome that rain delay curse. But obviously, Gabe Spire fucking the game up, and it happens, bullpen will cost you. And then tomorrow, I believe we have Logan Evans, and he hasn't won a game on the road all year. So our 8-game win streak could end up turning into back-to-back losses. And then, just being real, and then we got the Mets on the road, and that's not going to be fucking easy. That's going to be much more difficult, than this Orioles series. So we just got to be able to try to stay afloat on this road trip, and hope that the Astros kind of hit a wall as well. Top of the 9th inning, 3-1 Orioles lead. First pitch from Cano to Julio, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. Come on, J-Rod. We don't necessarily even need a home run at this point, but if you can get on, with a single or a double, that would be fantastic. But obviously we'll take home runs. But it kind of feels like, Julio could get a single or a double. Gino could maybe come up with that big home run in this clutch moment. And then, Naylor, doing something as well. And there it is. Julio with the single. Here we go. I'm trying to talk it into existence for everybody here. So I got Julio to get the single for us. Now we need Gino to get a single, double, or a home run. Even if he gets a single, that would be great. A walk, hit by a pitch, a single, home run would be fantastic. That's best case scenario. This would be a great moment for him to step up, and hopefully he'll get on base. And then we got Naylor, who's the RBI king. So if we can get 2 guys on, Naylor could hit a double and score 2. But we got to get Gino on unless he hits a home run. First pitch is low and at the knees, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. That would have been a good pitch to swing at, Gino. 1 ball and 1 strike to Eugenio Suarez. Come on, Gino. You already got 1 hit. Let's see if we can talk this shit into existence. You know, Suarez and Naylor can hit home runs, and they can get RBIs. And we know Gino has been a slump, but he did get a hit today. Can he get 2 in a game? 1-1 pitch, fouled off, high and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Cano to Suarez. 1-2 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Cano to Gino. It doesn't really feel like Gino's going to hit a home run at this at-bat, but we have to just pray that he can get on base with a walk or a single. It's my internal feeling watching these pitches on the, the board in the strike zone. They're not really pitching too many that could be a possible home run swing for Gino. They're really going inside or outside. 2-2 pitch, low and away. Good eye by Gino. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Cano to Suarez. Hopefully we get a walk here. And there it is. 3-2 pitch, and there's the walk. My ESP is on point. Julio with a single, Gino with a walk, and now we got runners at first and second with the best player on the team lately, first baseman Josh Naylor. And if we can get some Naylor magic, and he can hit a 2-run blast, or a 3-run blast, then we'll have the 4-3 lead. And if we get the home run by Naylor, we're going to win. But again, that's a big what if. But if he gets an RBI single or an RBI double, we could end up tying it up 3-3 and then maybe winning 4-3 in 10, 11, or 12. But we definitely need Naylor to do his job here. And he's been able to get us RBIs. He got us the 1-0 win yesterday. He got us to 1 today. And now we just have to pray that we get the single, double, or home run out of Naylor, which could be possible. Come on, baby. Triple play ain't going to happen. You're delusional. This isn't the Shohei Ohtani game from last night. First pitch from Cano to Naylor, low and at the knees, 1-0 count. Especially when triple plays happen like once a year, or twice a year in a whole season out of 30 teams. Nice try, though. Runners at first and second, top of the 9th. We're down by 2. Cano on the mound having a meltdown, and we love it. 1-0 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and no strikes to Josh Naylor. Here we go. Delusional dogs. Wrong string, Toasty. This ain't Astros here. Top of the 9th, runners at first and second. We're finally getting a little bit of a meltdown by Cano like Gabe Spire, but we need Naylor to attack here. Obviously, bases loaded would be great if Naylor gets walked, but we know Naylor can do more damage by the swing. Doesn't really do us a whole lot if we have bases loaded because there's no guarantee that we're going to knock all of them in. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Josh Naylor. And there we go. Stolen bags. Now we got him at second and third, baby. Let's go, Ams. Look at that double stolen bags by Julio and Gino. And you know why that happened? Because of the Dustin comment. Sports gods always are, going to be, leaning on those negative comments. So keep it up. We love that. Top of the 9th, runners at second and third and no outs. We're down by 2. Here we go. 2-1 pitch. Naylor. And he grounds out to second, but Julio scores 3-2. Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. But now is really where it comes critical. Naylor does his job. Now we're down by 1, but we need Garver or Polo to come up big with an RBI single so that way we can win this game 4-3 in extras. Someone between Garv or Canzone is coming in. Great. Even better. Let's go, Dom. Let's go, baby. We got to make up for Gabe Spire's fuck up. Come on, Dom. And that's much better than having Mitch Garver in the game late. Good job by Dan Wilson. Here we go. Top of the 9th with a runner at third. We got a meltdown by Cano, thank God. And again, maybe not as bad as the Spire meltdown, but again, if we can tie this game up or take the lead, obviously this could be a key moment here for Seattle. And they're going to have a pitching change. Let's go, baby. It's not over till it's over. And, we could still lose, but again, just to show that fight and that heart. We've never won a game with a rain delay. This could be the first. But again, it's not going to be easy. We're going to have to earn it. Let's go. Try dance up. Let's go, M's. Let's go. Top of the ninth with only one out, and we're only down a run. Naylor is such a reliable hitter. I would love that, but again, we have to see who's coming in. Now, if they would have kept Cano in, maybe that could have happened, but hopefully we get, a wild pitch. That would be great. But again, we do have Gino at third, not Julio. So Gino's not going to be as fast, but again, if it ends up being a wild pitch, it may not matter. You could even have someone big like, we don't really have Rowdy Tellez on the team anymore and whatnot, but they're going to bring in Keegan Aiken. So we'll see if Keegan can end up having a meltdown. But these guys are they're so destined to beat us. They just keep throwing in lefty after lefty, as many as they have, regardless if they're good or not. They're just trying to find an advantage to beat us. So. And there it is, baby. Sack fly, Suarez scores, and just because Dustin has no faith and he's a hater, thank you so much for being a hater. And just like that, we're tied up 3-3, and we have the momentum now, and we have a good chance to win. Thank you for being a hater. I appreciate it very, very much. Let's go. And that's the end of the inning. Now we're knotted up at 3. Again, to get 2 runs in the ninth, very tough. Again, it's not going to be easy whatsoever. And that pop-up on that first pitch, I wish that count was worked a little bit harder there. But again, we did the job. We tied it up 3-3. And again, we're going to have a chance. Meltdown, obviously, by the Orioles. Meltdown, by the Mariners bullpen. And we will have a chance. Hopefully, we don't blow the game here late, but hopefully we'll have a chance to win 4-3 in 10, 11, or 12, like I mentioned. Next up, 1 for 3 with the run, first baseman Kobe Mayo. We got Brash coming in for Vargas. Batting second will be Daniel Johnson, unless they have someone come in and pinch hit. And then batting third, left fielder Dylan Carlson. So we have a good chance on eliminating these 3 batters, hopefully. But we need the good Brash, not the bad one. And Brash has been a little shaky in his last couple outings, so hopefully he'll be good here today. But luckily we had Dustin being a hater, because if he wasn't, then we probably would have lost 3-1. But luckily we got the hater comment to come out, and we tied it up 3-3, and we'll see if I can talk this win into fruition. Let's go. And hopefully we get the good Matt Brash here. It would be a huge win for us. It would be 9 in a row, but the more importantly, it'd be our first win in a rain delay in 2025. Bottom of the ninth, 3-3. Let's go. First pitch from Brash to Mayo, high and away with the slider, 1-0 count. Brash on the mound. Kobe Mayo in the box. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brash to Mayo. Bottom of the ninth, 3-3. We're knotted up, and we were down 3-1 and should have lost 3-1. But again, sometimes, getting that right batting order and having a meltdown after you already had one yourself, it ends up being a little bit more exciting than maybe most thought. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike looking. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kobe Mayo. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And that is a punch out by Brash. Way to bring that electricity, baby. 1 away. Here we go. 2 more outs, and we can try to win this in 10, 11, or 12. First pitch to Jackson, low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Brash to Jackson. One pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Brash to Jeremiah Jackson, excuse me. Trying to get the photo linked up here in time before the at-bat is over, if I can. There it is. 2-1 pitch, in play, and grounds out to third. Throw to first, 2 away. Great defense there, baby. That's what I like to see. And our potential last batter here in the bottom of the ninth, hopefully, left fielder Dylan Carlson. 1 for 3 with a K. Come on, Brash. First pitch, high and away, missing the strike zone by 8 feet, 1-0 count. Bottom of the ninth, we're knotted up at 3, and both teams have had a meltdown in their bullpen. But when you're down 3-1 late in the ninth, usually it's game over 99% of the time. But luckily we found a way to have the right lineup in there. And again, shout out to Julio and Gino, for doing their job, as well as Josh Naylor. Huge. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and no strikes from Brash to Carlson. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Brash to Carlson. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dylan Carlson. We need 1 more punch out here, and we already have the momentum. Now we just need to be able to capitalize in extras. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Slider missing the zone there by a few feet. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Brash to Carlson. Come on, Brash. We've already had 1 meltdown. We don't need another. Three-two pitch, in play, and a single to right. Nice base knock there. Next up, back at the top of the order, second baseman Jackson Holiday. Come on, Brash. Get the job done. First pitch, big swing and a miss right down the middle to Holiday, who's 0 for 4, 0-1 count. Come on, Brash. We're at 160, 40 more to go to get to 200. Let's go. Oh, 1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at first and 2 outs. We're knotted up at 3. And again, keeping the win streak alive would be great for 9 in a row, but I really want our first win in a rain delay in 2025. I mean, we've already lost, 3, 4, 5, 6 times with rain, regardless if it's 15 minutes or 5 hours. This would be huge for us, especially with Logan Evans on the mound tomorrow, who hasn't been able to win a road game in his early career. So 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Brash to Holiday. Let him know, Flying Monk. It's been kind of like that, recently. But hopefully we'll get a few of those people to, help us with those certain metrics that matter, like the likes and the subs and the views and the donos and the shares. Bottom of the 9th, we're knotted up at 3 with a runner at first. Brash on the mound, Holiday in the box. We had a meltdown by a few pitchers, for the Mariners and the Orioles. And the Orioles get a big base knock, and that is game. Jackson Holiday, and that is game over. Final score, Baltimore Orioles 4, Seattle Mariners 3, and it shows you, even with guys like Gabe Spire and Matt Brash, who normally are reliable, that when you have a guy that is 0 for 4, if you're not on your game, you're going to get to a point where if you're not on point, game is over. And just like that, we let one slip through our fingers. Brutal. And we still can't win a game. We still can't win a game on the road. Brutal. Well, at least we fought back. But again, it shows you the bullpen normally is good, but we weren't able to get the job done there. Brutal. Final score, Baltimore Orioles 4, Seattle Mariners 3. And again, we'll be live tomorrow early to try to be able to win the series. And again, we don't really expect, our good guys in the pen to fuck up, but that's kind of been what we were able to do here. And again, when we have a rain delay, now the record is, like 0 for 6 or 0 for 7 here in 2025. We haven't been able to do that. So rough, but at least we fought back. And again, we could have easily lost 3-1. So good effort overall, besides guys like Dylan Moore. So love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. We'll be live tomorrow, bright and early. And again, the matchup tomorrow, we'll go over it here. Win streak comes to an end. But again, we haven't been able to win on a rain delay all year, so I'm not really that shocked. And we play the first game of the morning at 10:05 a.m. on MLB Network, and it will be a global broadcast. And we got Logan Evans on the mound against Sagano, 9-5 versus 6-4, and that'll be a really hard game to win, but hopefully we can find a way. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Hit that like button on the way out. Shout out to Kevin and David with the support, especially all day getting the job done. Love you and appreciate you. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Tridents up. Go M's.